Hey guys, J-Man here for another Spawn review. Spawn number 20, no, what am I saying? 340, Spawn 340. I was having King Spawn in my head. 340 with our buddy on the cover here, Sin. Okay, this is just brutal. Hey guys, J-Man here for a Spawn review. Spawn 340. Okay. Let's talk about it. If you've been following me, you know I like all the Spawn comics. I give them all high scores, 7s and up, 7 to 10 out of 10. I rank my comics using my SPACE system: story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 to 2. 2 is the best you can get. If a category gets a 2, if I give the artistry of this comic a 2, that doesn't mean that the art in this comic is better than Neil Adams or like Alex Ross or something. That's not how that works. I'm saying for your $2.99, Spawn is still the cheapest comic out there. All 4 Spawn titles are $2.99. It's the best value, pretty much for sure anyways. But anyway, for your $2.99, what are you getting out of this comic, right? So if a comic book gets like a 10 out of 10, that's like, wow, that was a great issue. I want to buy the next one and read on, you know? If you get a 5 out of 10, that's kind of a pass. So 5 out of 10 seems low, but it's sort of a pass. You read it, you're like, yeah, that was okay, right? I gave a Superman comic not too long ago a 5.5. It's like, yeah, it was okay, right? 6 is okay. 7 or 8 is like good. Like most comics should be a 7 or 8. Like you're paying your money, you want to get at least a 7, right? Anything higher than, like, if you get 9 or 10, that's like a you must be collecting this. So again, I'm not comparing this to the Superman comic I'm referring to. That Superman comic was compared to other Superman comics that are around. Now there's a lot of Superman comics around. There's not as many Spawn comics, even though there's 340 plus all the other stuff. Still comes with a promise. When you buy a Spawn comic, you understand the world of Spawn. You know what you're looking for. If you don't get it, it's a fail. That's how I see it. Okay. So let's talk about the story. I'm going to give the storyline a 2 out of 2 on this issue. Man, I got pumped up for what's going on. So we have Spawn and Haunt. Haunt needs to find a cure, and Spawn just wants weapons, right? So they're that's all that's going on. And then there's a parallel story going on with Sin and his guys talking about the throne of hell, and this guy's telling him, oh, when you were gone, these other guys usurped the throne, and then this guy fought this guy. So basically half this book, so there's like big action scenes like this. This is all, I'll get to the artistry in a minute, but so there's a big battles going on. These are all the things where it's like, okay, you know, this has been going on in hell. In the meantime, Spawn and Haunt are fighting guys as well, and they're trying to find the cure and weapons. So it's a simple story, but there's 2 things going on at once, and I'm interested in both things. So I was going back and forth pretty quickly to see like, oh man, like what's going to happen next, right? That's where the pacing comes in. I'm giving the pacing a perfect score of 2 out of 2 as well, because, you know, I'm reading it's like a couple of pages of this, bang, couple of pages of the next thing going on, bang, right back to the next thing. So we went back and forth really quick. Story and pacing are tied together. If one is good, you know, it helps the other. But both were awesome in this case. Like I got really into this comic, and this fight in the beginning is pretty damn good too. They give this little kid this introduction to this character. I can't pronounce his name because I can't pronounce things. Penemu or something. Penemu. It's just like a little character is introduced and then something happens. You're like, that was kind of neat. Like, it's just neat things like that, you know? Let's get into the art. I'm going to give the art, I'll give it a, geez. I want to give it a 2. I'm close to giving this thing a 10. This might get 10 out of 10. Yeah, all right. I'm giving it 2 out of 2. Look, I like the art here. I like the colors. They pop really nicely. Especially these battle sequences here. I'll show you that double pager again. Look at that. That's pretty good. I like the design of the characters. This is cool. I like when the guys are jumping in and they're covering other panels around. I mean, realistically, I guess you could give this like a 1.5, but I'm going to give it a 2 because I'm excited about it and I got into the storyline and I like this, you know, this guy looks good. He's like got this like smirk or whatever. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I really liked it. Characters, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 2 for characters. Look, I wasn't a big Haunt guy, but I'm kind of getting pumped up for him now because he's like, yo, I just want a cure. Like, what's going on here? You're stringing me along. Yeah, we're gonna get a cure for you. Don't worry. And then next issue passes. Oh, and then we're gonna get in the next issue, and then another. And he's just like, yo, like, am I getting this cure? Like, and I'm starting to be like, yeah, is he getting this cure? Like, what the shit? I like when I'm getting into the, like, I'm on the character's side. Like, look, I'm always with Al Simmons, man. Spawn's my guy from day one, right? First issue of Spawn. I was there for the first issue of Spawn. Never missed one for 50 issues. 50 issues straight, never missed a Spawn comic. Then I stopped for like a decade. And then I came back on 300. Yeah, that was a bit of a fail. I've literally, and I sold some of my Spawn comics. I still have 1 to 35, but I don't have anything past that until 300, and then I've got the current ones. Enjoyment factor for this, I'm going to give it a 2. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. Look, I'm giving a few 10 out of 10s recently. I don't want you to think that my credibility is going down because I used to give 5s and 6s and now I'm into the 10s, but the point of it is that I am excited about it. I'm not saying this is better than V for Vendetta or Watchmen or something like that. I mean, those are masterpieces. Dark Knight Returns, like these great comics, even like Giant Size X-Men #1, which is kind of maybe my favorite single comic. Action, getting new characters. I love all those guys. See, like something like that, that's groundbreaking, takes the entire medium forward. But I'm grading these based on your money. You just paid $3, right, plus tax. You want to have something fun that you're going to enjoy. You might read it a couple of times. You flip through it once. You know, typically I like to flip through just to get a bird's eye view of what the comic is. Go back, read it in detail. Sometimes I skim it pretty fast. Like I read it, I'm like, oh, I didn't really pay attention. Then maybe go back again, read it, and pay attention to the art and that kind of a thing. So usually I flip through, then I read it, like just for the story. Then I go back and read it, like kind of read it slower, but you know, glimpse it again, look at everything. And some comics I don't do that at all. There's some comics I flipped through one of the He-Man things that was just that multiverse thing. I flipped through issue 2. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like right there, I'm good. So I just spent $4 on that for nothing. My shop gives them to me bagged and boarded already. So I actually don't like that, to be honest. I like having it loose to look at it. I don't really, you know, bags and boards, that's another video. Stop it. Anyway, 10 out of 10. Am I crazy? Maybe I am crazy, but I do like Spawn. But I didn't give King Spawn 10 out of 10. I think I gave it a 7 or a 7.5 or something. So again, I'm rating these comics based on the money, right? If a comic's not getting a 7 out of 10, you shouldn't be buying this. Now, I'm buying it for review purposes, so that's fine. But you guys should not be doing that. That's the whole point of watching people's reviews, because if you trust me, I'm going to say buy this. So, you know, don't buy Superman Lost. It's boring. Okay? But buy Spawn, you know? Buy Nemesis. Shit, damn, to get that comic, right? So that's how I'm rating this, okay? It's for the benefit of other people when you tell them, it's like, look, dude, this was like crazy. This is like 10 out of 10. You got to get this. And if someone says critically, well, is it as good as The Dark Knight Returns? It's like, well, obviously not. All right. Obviously, the entire run of Spawn is not better, like objectively, than like Watchmen or something. But that's not how that works. You're not buying Spawn to read Watchmen. You're buying Spawn to read Spawn. How good was Spawn? It's 10 out of 10. If you like Spawn, you will like this issue. That's the point of how that works. Okay. All right, guys. That's it. I've rambled on too long. All right. We're doing a live stream tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, talking about all the comic books that came out in 1991 in March. March 1991. Every comic that came out from every publisher, we're going to look at it tonight at 7 p.m. If you can make it, awesome. If you can't, that's cool. See you on the next video. Until next time.